What is it?
What the fuck?
All right, that's that's the custom blender door feature. What's up, guys? Sorry for my lack of content. I know I start off like every couple of months with that, but let's get right into it because I have a lot of things to cover in this video. So the first thing you may notice is that my front yard is very empty. A New Year's resolution for me. I was feeling very overwhelmed every day when I came home. I had 13 cars in my front yard. I don't like the way that looks. It made my house look like shit, and it made me feel very unmotivated. Having all these cars needed a lot of work, and I kind of wanted to start fresh, so I decided for New Year's. I've never been a New Year's resolution kind of guy. The timing just worked out. It happened to be around the 1st. I said, okay, you know what? I gotta let go of some cars and kind of start fresh. So I sold off a few cars, one of those being the Corolla. I bought that car as a flip to begin with, but I was in this like mode for the past few months where I was just buying cars and hoarding them and not selling them. And I had to remember to let cars go and make profit when there's profit to be made. So I bought that Corolla for 300 bucks. I put almost 3,000 miles on it. I ended up selling it for $900. On my way to buy my new daily driver, which I'll talk about later in the video, give you a quick sneak peek back here. The Escalade there, you guys remember me, I was always a full-size GM truck guy, and I haven't had one for over a year, which is like a record for me. I've always had a full-size GM truck of some sort since before I was old enough to drive. So you'll see that later in the video. You can see I also did some upgrades out here aesthetically to my car parking port situation. I put this lattice on both carports. It blocks out the sun better than before, and it gives me some privacy. Put some nice flowers out here and some trees, and I also installed these big bright lights out here so I can work on the cars at night, give you guys some more content. If I want to detail a car out here at night, I can. So I put a light here, I've got a light down there, and I've got a light over here in the smaller carport, which is great. So now you can see I can do this video at night, for example, and you can see what I'm pointing to. So like I was saying before, I sold off some cars, and some other cars I put off to storage. I'll talk about that in a minute. The other car I sold, believe it or not, you probably won't believe it, I sold the super clean 96 all original 240, the S14. Just needed too much work, that car. The automatic transmission was starting to fail, which I didn't really care because I was planning on manual swapping that car, but I knew it was not going to get done for the longest time, if at all. And the expense and time associated with that manual swap. And then I was having issues with the engine. The engine wasn't idling well, and which is a common 240 thing with the dual cam KA, but the problem is that car's OBD2 computer didn't work, so I'd be throwing parts at it left and right to figure it out. Like I said, too many project cars. I was getting unmotivated, so I cut that one loose. I made a $1,000 profit on that car, sold it for 3,200 bucks. The good thing is I sold it to a guy who's going to take care of it. He had a very clean original Fox body, and he bought the 240 for his girlfriend to drive. They were older, they weren't kids, and he was aware of the issues it had. He just wanted an automatic bone stock clean S14, so and he wanted one in champagne gold because I guess when he was a kid, his brother or his cousin had one just like it, so it worked out for both of us. And you'll notice, like I was saying earlier in the video, lots of open space out here. What happened to the other cars? So that's 2 sold. Let me show you what's left. Obviously my girlfriend's S2K, the Fiero, I could never sell that. I've had that car for years. We've got the new daily driver, my Mustang. By the way, if you haven't heard, today they announced the new Bullet 2019. Go check it out. The TI, I still have it. I do have it up for sale. I put it up like the 240, kind of at a premium price. If someone takes it for that, they can have it. Otherwise, I'll hang on to it. But I do want to replace this soon with a real M3. Kind of like the 240. I've accepted that I'll never get that project done. If you didn't know or you forgot, my original plan with the TI was to S52 swap that, put an M3 motor in it. And that car also needs a lot of paint and body work and interior work, and I mean, it would have cost way too much, and it would have took way too much time I don't have, nor do my mechanics have. So again, kind of one of those things. I've got it up for sale. If it sells, it sells. I've had people come look at it, I've had people interested, but they're all offering too low. I mean, I'd still be making money, but I don't want to. I like that car too much. It runs very well. I still putt around town with it pretty much every day. My truck is still around. I gotta fix. It's got a rough idle running rich issue, and so is the Element. I'm keeping the Element. I think I was gonna sell it originally, part of my like cutting out all these cars to make myself less stressed out thing, but I've actually been using it a lot as like a beach vehicle. I go to the beach quite a bit. I take my dog, I take my kayak and stuff, and I used to use the truck for that a lot more when this was my daily, but now this isn't my daily. I don't mind getting it dirty, and it's a lot better, especially because I like to travel to beaches on the west coast of Florida. I like to go north, and instead of lugging this big truck around, getting shit gas mileage and being uncomfortable, I can pack this thing up for a weekend trip, and it's a lot nicer. So I'll probably hang on to this as a camping slash beach vehicle. I'm only into this thing for like $3 grand with all the repairs and the purchase price, so you know, I could make a hell of a profit if I sold it, but I know this vehicle, I've had it for over a year now, and you know, I just don't want to let go of it. So this one's probably going to stay. And the last thing I want to talk about quick, because this video is getting already too long, is the EG. You can see that paint job's looking great. It's very dirty right now. It's got water spots all over the roof and dirt. It's been out here sitting, so don't judge the paint by that. But you can see I got new wheels for it. I know it looks kind of monster truck, dub, midnight club shit, but I got a really good deal on the wheels from a friend of mine. He had them on his EG. They're universal. They're Honda Racing. Never heard of it. I'm not sure if someone just stuck these stickers on the wheels, but that's what was on them. He didn't have a clue. And it's got these weird center caps. He said they work from these wheels, so I don't know what the wheels are. I think they look pretty good. They're 17, so obviously without the car being lowered, they look kind of funny, but I'm gonna put some coilovers in this thing soon anyway, because the shocks are blown in this car, so not a big deal. The car drives 10 times better with these new wheels and tires. The old ones were thumping very bad from flat spots. These are nice and smooth. So it's made a huge difference to this car. It's almost done. It's almost ready for my girlfriend to take it and daily it. I just want to sort out a few more things, including the coilovers. So that's the scoop. I hope you enjoy this video. Sorry if it's kind of long, but a lot to catch up on. So the first thing I'm going to talk about in this video and show you is the new garage spots that I leased. And after that, I'll show you the Escalade. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so check it out. These are the two spots that I rented on a monthly basis for the Roadmaster and the Trofeo. They are very safe here. This is a pretty exclusive garage here in Miami. Upper floors of this garage are permit holders only, so people who come downtown to shop or whatever else, they can't park up here. The lower levels are for public parking and the upper levels are for private, and there's a second gate with a second security person just for these upper floors. So obviously with that comes a price. These floors are more expensive, but to me it's worth it. Saying more expensive in comparison to there's other garages in the city that I could have rented monthly spots in. But with those, there's a lot more of a security risk, as well as they're much more open to the elements. You can see this garage is very enclosed. There's almost no windows at all. The ones that are here are boarded up. I like being up on this floor because there's literally nobody else that parks up here but me. I come over here a few days a week to check the cars when I'm in the area, and I have yet to see another car park up here. This garage is very large and it's very under capacity. And the cost is not bad at all compared to my initial plan of renting a warehouse space. Just for me to rent a warehouse space that would not even allow me to work on my cars or anything like that, just purely for storage in my area. This garage is minutes from my house. It's very close. Just to rent a warehouse to store probably, you know, we're looking at probably 1,000 square feet warehouse. I could probably store 8 cars in there maximum, but I'd have to pull cars out, kind of like I have to do at home, to get, if I wanted to get a car out of the back of the warehouse, say this was in the back, I'd have to move 3 cars out of the way just to get it. Whereas here I can park them next to each other and very easily access them and swap cars out, etc. A warehouse like that would have costed me at least $1,300 a month, if not more. You have to remember we're in downtown Miami. Real estate is very scarce and expensive, so it probably would have been closer to $2,000 a month before utilities and everything else. So just not worth it to me. Not just for storing cars. You know, if I rented a shop space that came with a lift and some other goodies, then it'd be worth it, but not just for storage, not at $2,000 a month, that's insane. So this option is like 1/10 that price. The way I look at it, I'm very happy with that. So anyway, that's the scoop. The two cars are here, and they're here to stay for now. This car, I'm gonna be doing an engine swap on eventually. I wanna put in a Series 2 3.8 supercharged. I'm just having too many issues with the original 3.8. I'm gonna pull this motor out eventually. They're very easy to source, the Series 2 3.8 supercharged. There's a whole bunch at the junkyard or Copart for a complete parts car where I get the harness and everything I need to do a very, not a simple, but a complete swap without missing anything. So I will do that soon, hopefully. Not a priority because I don't need this car, it's just a toy. It's sitting here safely being preserved. When I find a deal on a good parts car with everything I need, I'll buy it. And when I find a good mechanic who has the time to do it, I've got good mechanics, I just don't have the time for a big project like this. So this is on hold for now. That's why it's sitting over here out of the way. The Roadmaster I have up for sale. I don't know if I'm going to sell it. It's one of those situations where before I dump more money into this car, I want to see if I can get out of it and make a profit. And just go buy another one that's good to go. Because again, it's not a car that I need. It's not a car I rely on. It's a toy. The issues I'm having with this car is, as you've seen in previous videos, the starting issues. I believe it's just a starter solenoid, so that's easy. But even before that became an issue, it would still take a few cranks. I changed the fuel pressure regulator, didn't do the trick. The fuel pump, I can't imagine why that be it, but that might be a possibility. It's got a couple of pretty significant oil leaks, and now it's making a weird clanking noise. Not a clanking like a timing chain or something, but couldn't tell you what it is. It's mechanical, it's not suspension. You guys have seen how nice this car cleaned up when I detailed it. It's a very clean, solid, original Roadmaster, so I'm in no hurry to sell it at all. I don't mind having it sit over here until I find, again, the right guy with the time to go through this car and sort it out. But if I don't find somebody, and somebody comes up to me and gives me, you know, $3 grand for this car as it sits with the issues, I'll take it. I have no problem taking that. I know that Roadmaster prices are going up, but I can live without it. I'm only into this car for $1,400. So if I can double my money on it without having to fix it, it's a no-brainer. All right, so this is the other thing I wanted to show you guys. I picked this up about a week and a half ago as my new daily driver. I've had a few Escalades over the years. Some of my old followers remember I used to have a black 05. It was the Tahoe sized one. That car actually got totaled like a T-bone. You guys know I've had many full-size GM SUVs over the years. I've had quite a few Suburbans, quite a few Yukons. This is actually the first, 2017 was the first year, I think, ever since like 2007 where I haven't had a full-size GM SUV. So New Year's resolution, I guess you could say, I went out and bought one. This was a one-owner Escalade. It's the ESV, which you guys know I prefer the Suburban size over the Tahoe size. So it's an ESV 04, one owner, 140,000 miles on it. I have all the service history since new. Cosmetically, it's a little beat up because it was an older guy, and he lived in a oceanfront condo in Fort Lauderdale, so it had a lot of exposure to the salt air. Undercarriage is fine, but there's a couple spots in the body, which you'd see if this truck was from, say, Massachusetts. You'd see this kind of shit, very typical on these trucks as they're getting older. You have some bubbling right here. Came with 4 brand new tires on it. They're Bridgestone, which is great. The shocks are perfectly fine. The suspension's perfect in this truck. No creaking, no clunking. It drives like $1,000,000, which is great. So I wasn't too worried about the cosmetics stuff. I was more concerned with service history and maintenance and having lower miles, which it has all of that. And you can see the body's very straight, besides a couple grandpa granny bumps, I like to call them, from older people backing into shit. Even though they have parking sensors, it didn't seem to help them too much. Aside from that, the body is very straight. There's no shopping cart dings or anything like that. The worst of the damage on the truck is this over here. There's a little scrape on the side. It really doesn't bother me that much. The daily driver, I'm just gonna leave it alone. It's just from there to there. Came with a nice Support Our Troops sticker on there. I left it on, you know, support our troops. It's missing a couple center caps, no big deal. I didn't wash the truck for this video. This is kind of spur of the moment, so it's not showing its full potential, but it's a very clean, solid truck. I wanted a white one, and I wanted an ESV, and I got both. This is the worst of the rust on the vehicle. There's some rot back here, and some rocker rot. I've got a good hookup now to cheap body guy, so I'm going to have him sort out all these minor things eventually. Just have him cut this out and replace it. Not a big deal. Again, I was more interested in the maintenance. And you can see, again, those brand new tires. And it also has new brakes all around. Came with that, with paperwork. Brooks, you know what will happen if you do that. You see the inside's in very good condition. There's no tears in the seats. The worst tear in the interior is a little crack on the driver's side door panel. Not a big deal at all. No dash cracks. All the electronics work perfectly fine. No check engine lights. Heated, cooled seats work. I've got DVD in the rear.
Back seats look like a casting couch.
They do not. I gotta unlock that door. This is a very common thing with all these GM trucks. These speaker covers get that like rusty look on them. I'll change those out from the junkyard. Not worried about that. I got the Bose radio in here. You can see it's got the captain's chairs, which is also something I wanted. I didn't want the bench seats. A little bit of minor damage to the die, but there's no tears. I've got the DVD in the back here. It's got the split air conditioning, obviously, which is working fine. I think it needs a blower motor in the front though, because the front doesn't blow, but you can feel the cold air coming through. But the back AC works, and that cools this thing down very quickly, so I'm not worried about it. Got the third row seat as well. You can see a very clean, well-maintained truck. I've got the navigation and everything that all works great, and she runs fantastic. One thing I can always tell when these trucks are maintained or not is do they have any lifter noise, because usually the ones that didn't have the oil change frequently have a lot of lifter noise, and this one has none. I have all the paperwork showing the oil changes when they were done. They were always done on time, and it's all highway miles in this truck. It was driven back and forth frequently from Fort Lauderdale, so it's really not, it never towed anything. It's been very lightly used, and this is a little banged up in the front here. But I bought this truck for $3 grand. I don't think it was a steal of the century, but it's kind of hard to find an ESV in white exactly how I wanted it with lower miles, so you can't be too picky. It's not like you're buying a Corolla or something where there's a million of them available. This was the only one. I've been looking for a while, and
It's pearl white.
yeah, exactly. It's a nice pearl white. It's dirty. There's shit all over the hood. I've been driving this thing everywhere, but overall it's in very good condition. Actually, I bought the kit, the professional kit. You attach it to your drill and you buff it off with a special cream and you re-clear it. I just haven't got around to it because I've been using it as a daily driver. I've already put like 1,500 miles on it in 2 weeks. Definitely needs a coolant change. But well, that's Dex Cool. So Dex Cool is actually a pink color.
It looks like fucking root beer.
This should be a pinker color like this.
Yeah.
So it's dirty. It needs to be changed. I get rid of the Dex Cool shit anyway because it causes issues with the cooling system. But nothing leaks. It runs very well. I'll fire it up for you guys so you can hear it. See, it runs very well. That's all I can say. It's a 6.0. These are like 340, 360 horsepower, something like that. It gets up and moves. It also uses a shit ton of gas. I'm averaging 13, 14, but I live in the city. So I'm obviously doing a lot of stop and go, but that's the ESV. I hope you guys like it. I'll be doing some more videos on it. Again, I'm just going to primarily clean it up, take care of the minor cosmetic issues, and hopefully it'll serve me well as a daily driver for a long time. I made the mistake in 2016 of getting rid of my full-size GM truck, which is that blue Suburban I had, the 05. And the Element's a great car, but to me, I like to have a V8, a big, comfortable cruiser as a daily driver. Even if it's shitty on gas, I'd rather have that over a little Honda. The Element's a great little car, but it's very loud inside because there's no sound deadening. It's not very comfortable. It's not very powerful. So that has been retired to like a beach vehicle. I'm perfectly fine with that. And you can see we've got the, like I said, the nav screen, all that shit works. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for watching. And keep an eye out for the next one. Brooke, any last remarks?
It's Brooks. That's my last remark.